Good morning, Armory. We're out and about on an adventure today. We're looking at the pond, Kyrie and I, because the pond got all brown from all the water runoff, and so we're out checking out the pond, seeing what's going on, and doing our daily dwell video. So today's reading was in Matthew. And so we're back in Matthew. Took a little break yesterday in the Psalms. But today it's Matthew in continuing chapter 26, which is a long chapter. So it's broken into, I think, like 4 parts for this dwell series. And and so we today we looked at the, second quarter of that. Which starts out talking about Judas Iscariot and him communicating with Kyrie's just throwing rocks in the pond. She loves doing this. Judas Iscariot, he was getting the price for Jesus to betray Jesus from the religious leaders, from the Pharisees, and the agreed upon price was 30 pieces of silver. Very famous now. That concept of 30 pieces of silver, but in the Bible and the Israelites' culture, that meant something. That was pretty meaningful. It stems all the way back from back when the law was being put together, when God was giving the nation of Israel the law. One of them was if one of your slaves was killed accidentally. For instance, the example is if he was gored by an ox, so it was an accident, then the blood price for that slave was 30 pieces of silver. And so essentially this wasn't a ton of money, small amount of money, and certainly not. It's kind of a slap in the face to Jesus, because religious leaders are essentially saying we're only going to pay the price of a slave, so they're definitely not recognizing him as worth much, and so Judas agrees to the price, and then I'll tell you this part because it's fascinating. Just jumping a little bit ahead, but a lot of this is prophecy from Zechariah, chapter 11, I believe, and that is where the prophecy is that he would be betrayed for those 30 pieces of silver, or that Zechariah's essential worth was 30 pieces of silver, and he even kind of jokes about like his kingly price or whatever, it's price of a slave, and God tells him to take that and to give it to the potter. And so it goes to the temple, and then from the temple to the potter. And if you know how the story goes, how Judas continues his story this way, is he gives back those 30 pieces of silver to the religious leaders, but they won't take it back because now it's blood money. And so they use it to buy a field, and they buy the potter's field. And that's where Judas hangs himself, sadly. So anyway, just some fascinating things there in prophecies being fulfilled in today's reading. And so, but a lot more happens. So there's the Passover meal where they, Jesus essentially initiates what we would refer to as communion in our church, where we remember him, his body broken, his blood shed, which was great timing because we got to do that together on Sunday yesterday. We shared communion together, and then so there was that passage, and then I believe after that Peter ends up is told by Jesus that he's going to deny him 3 times, and also I think there's the warning to Judas, or Judas, Jesus telling him, letting him know that he knows what he's up to, which is really tragic. But it's also interesting to me that we have like Judas, who's, he's purposely, he's planned this out. He's going to betray Jesus. He's going to turn him in for a quick profit because he just doesn't believe him to be who he says he is. Even after all of the things he's seen, he would rather trade Jesus in for some short-term, profit, kind of turn in his chips as you would. But Peter is kind of in a different position. He's about to betray Jesus as well. He's about to deny him in front of a bunch of folks, but he's not doing it planned. In fact, Jesus tells him he's going to do it, and then Peter denies the denial. It's like, no, there's no way. I will not deny you. And all of them, it says that all of them agree with that concept. And we know that they all run. They all keep their distance from Jesus. So during the trial and his death. So it's one of those things for me where I was thinking, like, never say never to the Lord. Like, we should never think that we would never do something or will always do something for him, because we're flawed, we're human, and we're capable of great evil, and we're capable of great good, but we're capable of disappointing ourselves and others. And the fascinating thing, though, in all of that is that Jesus was not taken by surprise by any of it. And he loved Judas, he loved Peter, clearly, and he wasn't surprised. And even with Judas, even though it was prophesied, it seems like he's trying to talk him out of it, like giving him chance after chance. And then, of course, we know with Peter how he restores him at the end of it all. And so anyway, I'm encouraged by this little jaunt of the story, because I know that even when I fail the Lord, or if I seem to disappoint him in my actions or non-action and all sorts of things, that we might look back with regrets. I know that none of it took him by surprise, and he loved me going into that, and he loves me after it. The question is, how are we going to respond? And Judas, we know his response at the end of it was to kind of give into his sorrow, give into his despair, whereas Peter turns back to Jesus at the end of it and repents and gets back up and keeps going. So that's that was the gist of what I was thinking about today. So yeah, good stuff, interesting stuff. Curious to know what you were thinking about it all. Kyrie and I are going to keep playing, and she's just been hopping away near the pond, and it's nice to be outdoors after the rain. Starting to feel more cooped up. So I'm going to go before she falls in, and you guys have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you tomorrow. Also, we'll see you tomorrow for youth group. So if you're going to join us for youth group, you'll be getting that text message shortly, and we'll see you there face to face tomorrow. All right, bye.